how many sessions of therapy before this actually came up?
About 3 or 4, because
Okay.
we started, like pretty early on, you know.
Got it. So then you found out, and then, but you're still with him. You're back with him, kind of, right? So what
Um,
actually broke it? Like what
yeah,
actually?
yeah, I'm not with him now. I left in September of last year after
Okay,
11 years of marriage.
got it.
Um, Again, after that time, we tried to get back together. Um, we spent a year together, but again, it was like same cycle, different day. We would fight, and then he would be gone for the week doing tournaments or something, and whatever new thing he was into. I would put all of my energy into the kids and into my career and to my friends and family. Um, Not so much my friends and family because when he was around, because he would call them names. A lot of C and B words were thrown around. So then I didn't want to upset him. So I would isolate myself from my family, and I just would focus on my children at that point, because that would seem to be the safest bet. And not that you should ever not, be with your kids, but I think that it's difficult when you're all of that effort is on them and you guys are just existing, and it gets a little, there's a couple nights where it ended up being like 3 a.m. in the morning we were fighting.
Wow.
Um, and I think I want to say for anybody who was in a relationship like this and hasn't left, you really do almost have to pretend that you're a different person
Yeah.
and get your stuff in a row. I paid off my debt. My credit score now is 808 because I ended up working out a plan with them, and I'm debt free.
Yes.
So during that time when I knew, like, it was like one of those moments where the rape was it, because I would talk to anybody else, and even me personally, like you yourself say, like at times, like maybe I shouldn't expect myself out of other people, but you look and you say, like, with going through therapy has helped me a lot, that you get to a point where you remind yourself that you are worthy, like,
Yeah.
despite the fact that this person doesn't think you are. And you surround yourself with those people, you surround yourself with those types of therapists, counselors, those types of people to remind you, because it's all about deception with them, that you
Yeah.
are nothing, you have nothing to offer, you won't be successful without them. And I started reading books. I went back to, I've always been a bookworm, but like once my therapist was like, you need to read this and you need to check this out, it was like knowledge opened up again, going back to that passion and just being adventurous and finding out more things and learning. It was almost like one thing happened at a time, of like having a little bit of a support group, even just in my therapist I was talking to, and having a couple friends saying, this isn't right, Jen. Like, someone who loves you does not treat you this way. And it just kind of like started to add up, that I said, okay, I'm going to pay off my debt first. I ended up like doing a couple of different plans to pay that off. That was done. My kids were good. And it was just like, I'm ready now. Like, you kind of do stuff. You don't say anything to them. You just get your ducks in a row. And it's almost like you are a different person. You're like, I'm just going to hold my breath, and I'm going to take the leap, and I'm just going to see what happens, because what's the worst that can happen?
That's the whole
Right.
thing. Yep.
Yep.
That's the whole thing. Yep. And that is exactly it. What's the worst that can happen? Because I always say, like, there's always this thing of like soon, like soon, I'll leave soon. But it's like the year, as you said, a decade, like a decade goes by, and you're still like soon. So I started to use that same exact mentality that you were just talking about. It's like, what's the worst that can happen? I'll just be this much better off as a human, whether I stay or I go. So when I started saving money and fixing my credit, I did the same thing. It's like, while they're love bomb, because it goes in and out of love bombing, the roller coaster is just constant. And I just had to keep reminding myself that whether I decide to leave or I decide to go, I'm going to be $10,000 richer or $15,000 richer, and my credit will be fixed. I can still stay, no pressure. I can still stay, and I'll just have extra money in my account. Because there's nothing else to lose. You're just, you're either going to stay or you're going to go. But at least when you decide you're going to go, you can actually go.
Mm-hmm.
have to make the excuse and then start saving at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally agree with you.